Hey everyone and welcome to Zoo Sicily. This is the last episode of this wonderful series, so a big thank you to every single one of you who clicked on this video or of any other video in the whole series. It's been a wild ride over the last 2 years, I should say, and this park has elevated my building style, my capabilities even more than Yosemite Valley ever did, but it's time to say farewell. However, despite I said something different in the last episode, we will have a final animal that we are going to put in at the very end of the episode together. It's going to be in real time, and we're going to have a look at the finished park just very briefly, because obviously there will be tours and so on, and I will fix a couple of little things which I don't make an episode of because that's just annoying and not necessary, like fixing some work zones, blah blah blah. However, in this video we are going to tackle the last areas that have been remained untouched so far, and I'm going to talk you through my experience of doing this, because honestly this is the first time I ever finished this in a way that I did this time. Like for Yosemite Valley, you know how many times we went back into the project. I called this finished for like 10 times or so, and whenever there was like an update, I went back and redid some things up until the point that I even redid the entire monkey area and ripped away this ape house. So that's not gonna happen in this project. So I really tried this time around to finish off really every single area. And also, by the way, sorry if you hear all this kind of little sniffing and pollen allergy this year is beyond crazy. I've never had it that long and that annoyingly. It's always like a constant level. It's not like super heavy that it makes me really completely break or whatever, but it's still on a level that is annoying all the time, and I can do whatever I want. My voice will not match up. Anyways, just like a little side note. However, back to the build. I really went through the entire project and really tried finishing off most of the areas in a way that I never did before, and this is really like looking at all the little open gaps and finding a way to do this in an efficient but still good looking way. Like, I didn't want to go too crazy on details and stuff like that, simply because the performance of this park is starting to become a little bit of an issue again. It's not as bad as it is in the realism optimized zoo, like in the, we still don't have a name for that, but in the realistic habitat zoo, it's by any means as bad as Yosemite Valley was, but it's becoming a little bit of a chunky one and a bit of a leggy one when you're in play, and so I don't want this. I want this still to be a park that can be accessed by many people. So my computer isn't the beastiest anymore. Over the last 3.5 years I haven't updated anything on my rig, so I think many people will be able to enjoy that in a good way. I also still have a i7, or is it an i9? I think I have an i9 by this time, but the new Ryzen CPUs, or basically the last 2 generations of Ryzen, have been way better than Intel for gaming. So if you're rocking a Ryzen, you will be a lot better up for this project. And I'm still debating with myself for my next computer if I'm gonna go Intel again or if I'm gonna go Ryzen. I feel like there is a chance that I'm gonna go Ryzen this time, simply because it's better optimized for games, and I can definitely take the couple minutes more render time if the gaming performance is that much better, as it seems to be. If there's any one of you having a good experience and comparisons, let me know in the comments down below, because I find it a bit of an issue, and if there's going to be a Planet Coaster 2, I want to be prepared. Anyways, let's talk about this backstage area for a second. You can see I put a couple of these water pumps down because this is an area behind the 2 bigger penguins. So it's the African penguin backstage and the king penguin backstage area. So I figured it would be good to have a bit of nice, you know, water pumps there, and just try to fill in a lot of things with nature, making sure that this whole project feels a lot more as if the buildings and so on have been built around nature. You can see I keep the buildings rather simple. Yeah, you know, I could have gone a lot more into detail, but to be completely honest with you guys, barely anyone is going to see this. This is merely for the background, you know, more for the feeling. If you do some aerial views, that it doesn't look like untouched or unfinished. From above, it looks super finished. So there's really no need for specific details on the roofs and so on, or some shingles or whatnot. It's like, that would be overdone. And I do love projects like Wallaby Zoo, or if you look at what people in Bro Nation do, and also what Lider always does, like, these buildings are absolutely crazy in detail, and I do actually love this. But if you look at those zoos these people are building, they merely contain of like 4 or 5 habitats or whatever before the performance is completely going off because of the usage of all the pieces. And this is why, for this sake and finishing the zoo, I really opted for not going too crazy, but still, and this is, I'm sounding a bit like a broken record here, but it's again what I wanted to achieve, making sure it's looking good to a certain degree, but not going too crazy in detail, as to provide a overall good feeling, and like this whole fiction about this zoo should stay true, but then again also making sure that it's not too crazy, and also for you guys a bit more achievable. If you watch this episode for inspiration, for example, you can definitely take out of this a lot, how simplified I did certain things to achieve a very good looking planter, for example, mix and matching certain elements. And specifically when we come to the waterfall area later on, you will see how easily you can get something like this done in a relatively short amount of time, and it looks really decent, I must say. I am a little bit surprised by how great it does look. I wasn't expecting that at all, but yeah, it just turned out good. Also, I finally got into the flow of listening to audiobooks again, and making sure that, I am in a good flow. This is, for me personally, I think one of the biggest strengths I have in this game, or in these type of games, is as soon as I'm in my zone, I'm becoming super efficient in building. And again, I talked about this in the past already. I have this problem, and this is a pattern. It's a bit more personal about me right now, but whatever. I've done this for so many years. So many things about me. There's no issue in telling you guys this. But I've a very specific trait to me, and this is, as soon as something becomes boring to me, my performance really drops down, and the effort I need to put into something becomes increasingly high. So as soon as I reach the point where anything like a topic or a job or even a build or so on isn't challenging me to a certain degree anymore, and I have to bring up energy to keep on doing this despite the fact that my whole system tells me it's boring and it's not challenging me, I'm becoming super sloppy. Also, very weird mistakes I'm doing then, not thinking about certain things. And I learned this over the years, and so in any case, not only with YouTube but also in other areas of my life, I understood this, and to tackle this, I always try to do something else then, and just to make sure that my whole system keeps on being challenged before I move on to another thing to finish that off. And I still do have a little bit of energy left for this project over here, and so I decided to finish this off instead of doing two things I had in mind. And this is something I wanted to talk about. Is for the longest time I had in mind to create an area down below where the waterfall is coming a thing in a couple of minutes. I thought about making this into a huge elephant area, or like an African savanna area, because I felt like we have such a huge space available, and that would be almost like a reserve could have been done in this region. And I really thought about that a long time. It would have been a cool touch to this park, but I figured that I did not have enough energy left. And in my head, the new park I'm building already in the background, and this is again exactly what I'm saying, I have already started building the new park just to keep on having a bit of energy for this one. So the new park is becoming a big thank you to you guys. You will see that in the first episode already, but it's also already having so much power to me that I want to do certain things. And going into this project and making this savanna habitat would have cost me so much energy in comparison to what I can achieve with the new project, so that I just decided against it and focused my energy I still have left for Sicily to finish off this park what it deserves, making sure that certain areas get the touch and the detail that it deserves. Specifically this area over here, I'm very proud of. I really tried to go over it quicker, because I thought it's just like a little cross over here before the tropical house. But then I was like, no, that and this could be cool in here, and let's take some of the old fences and just put them in, make sure that the connection to the panda area is nicely done, and so on and so forth. So I'm really, really proud that I decided to finish this off in the way I did, and it just adds so much more character to this area now. I decided to really make sure that there are a little bit more benches over here, and the whole zoo feels so much more complete now. And honestly, I'm very proud. I'm very proud that I went through this now. And again, this is my first project that got to this level of completion. And I'm very, very curious to see what other people say when they are touring this, when they're looking into this, and when they're just having a good time in Zoo Sicily. Oh my god, this is actually, pronouncing Sicily is now a thing. I understood what's the case, but then saying Zoo Sicily is actually a tongue breaker. I don't like this. We have to do something else. The next project will have a way more simple name. Hopefully it has. It depends a little bit on my skills in a certain language, but we come to that, okay? I keep teasing, but I'm not saying what that is. You can guess in the comments what the next project is. It's gonna be, on the one hand, it's gonna be surprising, I guess, but then again, it's not going to be surprising at all. It's very obvious. It's a very obvious choice. If you know my channel, if you know what I've done in the past, it should be an obvious choice, but yeah, more about that. Also, if you know my audience, if you know the audience of the game, again, it's going to be a very, very obvious choice. But I'm very curious to see how that turns out. Well, this over here is the only little cheat I did. As you can see, I used all the trees to cover up this very ugly staircase because the staircase itself has no real need. It was down there just to put the dolphins in, and I'm not even sure if I keep the dolphin. Maybe I'm gonna rip away this entire area and just leave it as is, because otherwise people would have to download the dolphin mod, and still not the biggest fan of the mod. I mean, people can't do anything about this. It's just the way these type of animals work in the game, because we certainly don't have them. Well, now we come to my favorite part of today's episode, and this is the waterfall area. I think I talked about this from the third episode on, when I was doing the river. And the river episode still has a lot of views actually, which I still find very interesting, because it's not been my favorite. There are a couple of little touch-ups I need to do, specifically in the underwater viewing, but we'll come to that at the end of the episode. However, making this waterfall was super peaceful now, and I'm very proud of the result, as you will see in a couple seconds. I must also admit that I'm also very happy and thankful that the idea continued through the entire series and wasn't changed upon my own stupidity or whatever, and I just left it open for me to fix in the future. But hey, here we are. As promised, I'm gonna talk about this real quick. Now, I'm using all of my rock formations, obviously, as they've been proven to be good throughout the entire series. And I use these waterfall pieces. You can see I formed a group out of them to be very quick in recoloring them in a second. You'll see I'll do this as soon as I've done all the rock work in. I'm going to choose all of them and making sure that they are color-wise aligned, as you can see. And as soon as I hit play and you see the VFX getting in, this whole thing already starts to look realistic. And then I used some of my blueprints with the with all the foliage pieces, and I start putting them in. And once I've done this, I started to add some detailing, which means a couple of other foliage pieces that are not blending in with these huge blueprints. So just to break the mood a little, to make sure that it's not looking too repetitive, putting some focus points in as this tree in the center, and then also putting some other ones in to get a bit of a color variation. Just some purple flowers as well. That was very important, to just break a little bit with the overall greenery, and then that's it, that's done. And to be honest, once I've done this, which I'm very proud of, I just decided to copy paste this down into the other part, just simply because, again, at some point you need to think about what does it add if I would do it yet again completely anew. What would this add to the overall park? And honestly, I think only one of 100 persons in the world, or people, would actually notice if I would have done a different one down there. So at the end of the day, I think copy pasting that for the lower part is absolutely legitimate, because again, no one will ever notice if they're not going super closely, or if they have watched the episode though, but whatever. And I'm just like, you know, that's the way of doing it, and just making sure that everything looks kind of nice and finished. And you can see this is the way I did this. Over here I needed to cover this up a bit with some water effects, and you know, it's not really super realistic with how the water flows over there, simply because of the level of water, but hey, whatever. Anyways, as promised, let's go into the park and have a look where we ended at, and I'm super curious to show that to you, so let's switch over. Alright, as promised, we are in the game, and as you can tell, we are in the entrance area. As promised, the first thing we're going to do is to throw in the animal as promised, and we are going to do this into this wonderful habitat over here. Last episode I fixed this area. Well, this back here, don't look at that, okay? The interior is fixed from this side, so this is the entrance to the habitat. This is the little shelter I was planning over here. And so you can see the habitat stretches all across the entrance area, and this is where we are going to bring in, hopefully it's going to work, and this is going to be the peafowl, the Ori Indian peafowl. And we're going to have one male, obviously. Oh, that one is okay. And a female. Actually, let's have two females. Let's see if we can get a better male, maybe. Well, oh, that's not what I wanted. Whatever. Just gonna. I don't need a wide one. So we're gonna set the filters and say peafowl. There you go, Indian peafowl. And I'm gonna select those three. As we do play in creative mode, I am hoping that this one is not gonna escape. I do think I have disabled the escapes. We should actually check this real quick. Sandbox, animal settings, terrain, blah 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 blah. Where is it? Enable protesters, enable escapes. There you go, it's disabled. Okay, perfectly fine. Now we can hit play and wait until they are added. So I'm gonna keep the game on play. You can see people are running now to get the animals and bring them in. But as long as we wait, I can show you around real quick. So not the things we've seen last episode, they are done. But I wanted to show you real quick. Look at the waterfall section down here. Isn't this beautiful? And as I said, you can't really tell it's repetitive. Like if you don't really look at it, it's not. So there you can see it, and I really am pleased with how it turned out to really look in. So I think it's very believable, you know, with all the foliage over here, it just kind of gets the believable aspect in, as if this is just somehow done in a realistic way. We've got all the animals in this case. What's going on over here? We have unboxing issues, I guess. Let's quickly do this. Not sure, as I said, these are all the things we still need to do. I don't even know what exactly to do with all these issues. Sometimes they appear. But then again, I also changed this. This wasn't on the episode, but as you can tell, I fixed this underwater viewing a little, so it's now looking a bit more realistic, as if there is really, well, a believable underwater section. This was very bare bone before, and now we've got the otters that eventually will dive in there. So yeah, this is that. And then also what I've also done, oops, let me just go over here. As you can see, the performance is a little bit choppy at points. It's not too bad, but yeah. So this is the area over here, the little corner we did. Look at that. This looks so much more nice now. I added a little bit of a fence to this side over here. And then going into the orangutan area, you can see the orangutan garden is basically the end. And then I've slopped in this one over here as like a little gate where there will be a warning sign. But I decided while I was recording, we're going to get rid of this ugly wall, because basically what we're going to do is we're not going to have any dolphins in here. I want to clean that off. I think this looks a lot better. Oops, I didn't mean to do this. So yeah, that's mostly like the whole thing. A couple of minor tweaks and changes will be done. Oh, you can see also I changed a bit of the, let's just fly over here, a bit of the road down here to make it a bit more nicely aligned with the water section. But that is almost it. Let's see if the peafowl has been added now into the region and is roaming around as I wanted to. Yeah, there you go. Look, they're already in. Where's the male one? I really would love to have like a shot, and you will potentially see this on the screenshot if I was successful or not. I really would love to have like a shot of the male peafowl doing its feathery thing here in the entrance area. But yeah, I don't really have a toggle to make him do it, so whatever happens, we will see. Let's see if the male one is actually even here. Are you still in here? You're chilling here, down there. Look at you. Okay. Well, guys, this has been it. I think the last bit we're going to look at is the first section we did in today's episode. There you can see it. This is the backstage section of the penguins over here and the penguins over there. And also in between we have got our hyenas. We have a bit of dumpsters in the middle. The staircase is now nicely aligned. We've got this thing I changed a little because I didn't feel the wall, so I changed it with the gabion wall. brought in a little other things. I fixed this staircase area down here so that this is all a bit more secured, you know, that people can meander up the way. And yeah, well, that's it, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this. As you can tell, the performance, especially flying out, isn't the bestest anymore, so it's really good to call it a day. It's still doable, and you can see the animal movings, and as soon as you walk through here with the explore mode, it's all good and fine. But that is Zoo Sicily. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the entire series as much as I did. I really loved it to the very bit. And yeah, I hope you guys come up with a lot of ideas what we can do with the new project. Make sure to comment down below what you think the new project will be. Also, make sure to comment down below what was your favorite part of Zoo Sicily so far. And yeah, can't wait to show off more in a tour and some cinematics and so on. I keep you posted. This has not been the last video of Zoo Sicily, but it's been the last building time-lapse episode. So, see you in the next one. Have a great hump day. And oh, by the way, I forgot. Oh my god, most important thing. Instant Gaming has now a lot of great offers in the Eldorado Summer Festival. Check the link down below. A lot of DLCs, including Planet Zoo, has been discounted by a lot, and so you can grab it. And if you've been one of the persons getting Planet Coaster recently for, well, under €2, you can now get some DLCs for even 85% reduced in price. So check it out. Thank you so much for your support. Have a nice Wednesday, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye!